Good evening, kindred. I am Voivode Maquette, and this is our World of Darkness. It's Monday, which means it's Metaplot Monday, where we will be continuing through our look at the lore sheets of Vampire the Masquerade, 5th edition. Our subject today is a very interesting one, and I believe deserves more light shined on her than has ever really been before. I have found disturbingly little information about Karna on YouTube. The White Wolf Wiki has an entire biography sheet on her. This character was created in 1992 and is a bastion of light in a male-dominated society. She's the Madame Curie of Clan Tremere. She was a simple peasant girl whose beauty attracted a prince, a Tremere prince, who took her on as a lover and a blood doll. After time of being treated as a second-class Tremere, her sire, whose name was Bordana, decided to, out of spite for the rest of the clan, he was going to embrace Karna, thinking that she would receive less respect than he was, due to the fact that she was a woman. Now, be that as it may, Karna was taken to Vienna. Karna did go through the training process. Karna did receive the ritual of the cup. And eventually, over time and years of work within the clan Tremere, Karna became Prince of Marseille, France. Now, at some point in time, Karna decided that she was going to start speaking out against her views on the jihad, how pointless it was, how unending it was, and how if they did not do anything, if the Tremere did not put their foot down, the war of the clans was never going to stop. She was removed from office and made the Primogen and Regent of Milwaukee, but more as a distraction than anything else. They didn't really expect anything from her. But that's when Karna's story really takes place. Not when she was the prince of a prestigious Camarilla city, but when she was considered nothing more than an oversight. And that's where our lore sheet is going to come into play. Because when they finally did decide that her views on the jihad were too radical, that she was going to cause problems, and decided that it was time to kill Karna, well, it's a little bit too late. Around that point in time, the Second Inquisition attacked the Vienna Chantry. So, where does that leave Karna, this considered Tremere anti-tribute? Now, she's not a member of the SWAT, she never was, but she has anarch sympathies. She does not believe that the male-dominated Tremere clan should be run in a hierarchy of blood bonds and servants. No, she believes in free will. And her followers, House Karna, believe the same. They are, for the most part, still Camarilla, with anarch sympathies. If you wish to learn blood magic of any kind, there's a good chance that the best people to ask would be Karna. Not that there wouldn't be a price, but they're going to be a little bit less tight about their secrets. So let's take a look at that lore sheet. Karna, once Prince of Marseille and Primogen of Milwaukee, Karna ultimately formed her own splinter cell from Clan Tremere. House Karna, as other Tremere dubbed it, speaks for freedom from the blood bond and against the tyranny of the pyramid and the hard-coded misogyny present in the Tremere. Around the time Pyramid's head of Vienna intended to drop the axe on Karna and her band of rebels, the Second Inquisition paid a visit to the Great Chantry. Without a shadow of the pyramid, House Karna draws increasing numbers of anarchs disenfranchised Camarilla. Karna seeks no followers, but she recognizes them for their value. Karna didn't survive 600 years by ignoring possible danger. She believes it's only a matter of time before Tremere himself appears to curse her to ash. Until then, she pushes as hard as possible for the modernization and feminization of Clan Tremere. That is interesting. She believes that Tremere is still alive. Also, I do find it's kind of interesting. One other way is that, unlike the unawakened mages and the astute students of hermetical orders and mathematicians and other individuals of great high mental faculty, she does not specifically draw in those individuals. Tarot card readers, practitioners of Wicca, peaceful Asatru, anyone who is looking for mystical means of life, people who love magic, not people who deem it a tool, seem to be those who flock to her, making blood sorcery, although the Tremere are a lot smaller, thanks to House Karna, they do tend to have a little bit more of a wide range of variety of individuals who are doing magic simply for the sake of magic. Now, if you invest points into this lore sheet, what are we looking at? Well, the first level is Embrace the Vision. You are fully committed to Karna's vision for a new Tremere clan, and find yourself possessed of a greater sense of self-belief in the presence of your fellow sub-faction kindred. When around other members of House Karna, you have one additional die for all willpower tests. That's inspiring. That's a very interesting thing to point out there, is that when you are around others of your own kind, when you are around others of your order, you have more of a will to go on. And that's true, I find, for many individuals of the New Age movement, is that they may be quiet and self-contained, but when you get them together in a group, there can be no stopping them. Now, if you invest 2 points into this lore sheet, you can get the Rebel Trail. You followed Karna's trail after her initial breakage from Clan Tremere, soaking up the feelings of rebellion and freedom. You resolved to never be a blood slave again. Whenever at risk of becoming bloodbound, you may make a willpower test with a difficulty equal to the blood potency of the ingested vitae to ignore it. What? I'm not against that at all. I think that is very neat. I think that the inspiring story of Karna basically gives you Iron Will, or the True Love Merit, the old True Love Merit, where the idea of following in this person's footsteps, the definition of standing on the shoulders of giants, when you are following this and you're inspired by this and you realize that a blood bond may be imminent, you can force yourself to not have a blood bond. That's pretty damn impressive, especially for a Tremere, who have that awful bane when it comes to a blood bond. Investing 3 points into the Karna lore sheet. Unorthodox rituals. Karna gives of her sanity and her soul to fuel her magic. Instead of divesting her vitae in hermetic orthodoxy. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering the word divesting. I feel that should be investing, but I could be wrong. Your understanding of her process enables you to perform rituals in the same way. You can perform one known ritual per story without the need to expend blood. But on a messy critical, you also become deranged in some way, typically becoming intensely paranoid or fearful of blood until the end of the story. That almost has a Khaldun feel to it. The old Khaldun used to be a willpower roll to use the ways of Khaldunic sorcery. But this is an interesting consideration of the fact that you could actually gain derangements temporarily, though they may be, but derangements from using your disciplines. Instead of your blood being expended, you're actually expending your own sanity. And the idea of someone who is sanguine phobic is also a very interesting cause, especially in a group such as the Tremere. Now, reimagined bond is if you invest 4 points into this lore sheet. You've studied Karna's magic and her unusual method of reimagining the vernacular, and you can extend the effects of her ritual to others. Having sex with a target, mortal or undead, creates a blood bond between the partner, yourself, and Karna, despite Karna's absence. Repeated sexual encounters strengthen the bond, as per the normal bond. You can thus circumvent the Tremere clan bane, but the bond only lasts until the conclusion of the story. So a temporary blood bond that needs to be maintained on a regular basis. That's interesting. That would be considered interesting. You're basically giving yourself a new clan bane on that one, stating that not that you can't create bonds, but you have to create bonds through sex. And for a clan that's considered as rigidly uptight as Clan Tremere, that's pretty interesting. Book of the Grave War. 5 points invested in Karna will get you this. According to rumor, the tome known as the Book of the Grave War allows Karna to break her bond to Clan Tremere. You own a copy, granting you 1 automatic success on all occult tests pertaining to Gehenna, its prevention, and breaking the shackles binding vampires to their elders. The book makes you unbondable for as long as you retain it and follow its arcane teachings. However, Tremere seeks to destroy you and the book. The storyteller can also penalize you 1 die on any social or mental tests affected by your ongoing paranoia. So if you spend 5 points in the Karna lore sheet, you gain a book. That book allows you to know how to not have a blood bond. You can break blood bonds. That's a very, very interesting ability. And again, that's a very Khaldun ability. I also am a huge fan of the idea is if you have it and they find out, they're going to come after you. I also like the idea that you know they're going to come after you and you're so damn paranoid about it that it affects your everyday life. Now, I would like to, and if they already have one, please, someone who watches this, and I do know some of you are watching the Metaplot Mondays. If anybody knows if there is an actual written out copy of Book of the Grave War, I would really, really appreciate getting a link to that or being able to get a copy of that somehow, because that would be a very interesting prop to have in game. Now, as I said before, I was highly disappointed that there's not more information on Karna on YouTube. Very, very shocked about that, considering how much of an influential character she is. She's been around since 1992 in the Milwaukee by Night book. Her story is amazing, and it goes as an inspiration for anybody who wants to build a character who is not in the norm when it comes to a member of Clan Tremere. Her timeline spans throughout the foundation of Vampire the Masquerade. It has gone through V20, and it has brought itself into the V5 timeline, where she has turned towards paganism and witchcraft and modern practices of magic instead of the dry, hermetic teachings of the Order of Hermes. She's a very interesting character, and so far the only retcons or mismatching information that I can really find is a 2-year difference on when she may have actually been born. Whether it was in 1417 or 1419. I don't think that really matters. And given the time period and where she was from and the fact that she was a peasant girl, she personally might not know. However, the modern, Milwaukee by Night says one thing and Beckett's Jihad Journal says the other. I want to see other things happen with Karna. I want to see Karna's movement cause problems for the loyalists of the Tremere. I like the fact that you can be a member of House Karna as an Anarch or as Camarilla also. That is a very interesting thing. The idea that you're not bound by sect when you're in that house. It does offer up a lot of interesting plot points and storylines. I know right now, myself, I'm working on a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition campaign where one of the players is a member of House Karna. And regardless of whether or not he takes any of the additions to his sheet given to us by the Laurier, the concept of House Karna is going to resonate very strongly within my game due to his participation. So, with that, I am Voivode Maquette. This is Our World of Darkness, and this has been a in-depth look on a very underrated character who deserves more light in the world of darkness. Loresheet Carna, for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. Thank you very much for joining me. Please, if you enjoyed this, drop a like, share it if you have any friends who you think this might interest. And of course, subscribe for more. We try to do videos every day. And we will see you next time. Good evening.